Alright, I did my case study on testing the idea to see if motivation and prior or background knowledge took a huger impact above reading level. I used my brother and my sister, went the easy route, but used my brother and my sister. My brother Nicholas is in 8th grade. He is definitely a struggling reader, borderline resistant. He reads most of the time below grade level, sometimes right at grade level. My sister Julia is in 6th grade, definitely a strategic reader, loves reading on her own, and reads beyond grade level, if not at Nicholas's level, then higher. So basically, my idea was to use two different texts. I found out through the reading surveys that both of them weren't too interested in history, didn't hate it, but weren't too interested. So I gave them an article about the history of the White House. Gave them a comprehension quiz to see how they did, compare their scores, basically as my baseline or my standard to make sure everything came out as I expected. The next text I used was an article about Tim Tebow and all the recent criticism he's gotten. My brother stated on his reading survey, and I knew this before even asking, he's a huge football fan. He's watching every game on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday nights. He's fantasy footballing it up. And, if you ask the kid a question about the NFL, he's got your answer. So I knew that with this text, he would have a super high motivation and a lot of background knowledge about the article, whereas my sister, not a big football fan, doesn't know much about it, could care less, honestly. So I basically just wanted to compare his motivation and high amount of background knowledge to her reading level and see which one came out on top. I hypothesized that Nicholas would do better overall on his score on the Tim Tebow article comprehension test, but I guess we'll have to see what happens. Nicholas is being a goof. Nicholas, what are you reading? How's it going? Fine. How you doing? Remember that first White House article you read? And we took the quiz and you took it on your iPod? Did you like that? Is that cool? Look back at the reading. Okay, but besides that, alright, so to begin my case study, I had them first read the White House article I was talking about earlier. Again, I did this as my baseline to make sure that comprehension levels came out as I was predicting, especially since I knew they were both uninterested in history, so they didn't have the motivation, and neither of them had the background knowledge either. So the first question I asked was, the White House was first declared to be made by, and the answer was George Washington. Both of them got that question correct. My next one was, the White House is a symbol for all of these except, and the answer was the legislative branch. Both of them got this question wrong, which worried me a little bit. However, the next question was, presidents and their families are not allowed to decorate any part of the house. That answer was false, and they both answered it correctly. I asked these first three questions just to make sure that the basic recall was there. The next question I asked was a short answer. It was, the White House started holding tours when Jefferson was president. However, the tours were closed during times of war. Why was this? I wanted to see how in-depth they would go with this answer. Nicholas just stated that they didn't want anything to happen to Jefferson, which, very true. However, the article did state that the White House is closed for tours during all times of war. And Julia elaborated more on this. She stated the fact that in case the White House was attacked even to this day, that any president wouldn't be hurt or anyone inside of the building couldn't be attacked. So that was what I was looking for. I saw that Julia had a more in-depth meaning. The last short answer I asked was, why is the White House such a huge and important symbol for our country, seen all around the world? They both answered that it was because the president lives there. So they both didn't think very in depth. They both didn't analyze the article as much as I would have liked. But I did notice overall that Julia did do better just because of that first short answer. She did go more in depth. She did evaluate what she was reading. And so overall I concluded that Julia did, in fact, comprehend more and read at a higher reading level.